I'm doing my second lesson in drawing the Ferrari Type 166. After a week's absence, I told about my dad's 166 that he had purchased and finally sold. But this is a Barchetta. This is the really, really cool Ferrari Type 166, in my opinion. And I just love to draw it. A friend of my dad's was the publisher of Road and Track magazine, John Bond, and he and his wife owned a Barchetta like this. It was in a collection that he had down at their offices at the magazine itself. John had his own mechanic, and when we were down there one time, he was working on this car, and it was just a jewel. This car's white, so it presents a lot more challenge for me because with black ink it's pretty hard to show a white car. So this is the first real attempt I've had. I did a couple white cars before, but never really worked on them that hard, and just showed basically the outline of them and some little bits in the middle. But this time I'm going to try and model the whole car, only using the pieces that I need and only as little ink as I can to show what the details of the car are. So it's going to be something brand new for me. It's not something I have ever done before, so it's going to be fun to try and find out if I can do it without screwing this thing up totally. But I think it'll come out okay. Like I say, it's a very pretty car. Even if it's not perfect, it'll be enough to make me happy with it, I'm sure. But that's what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is just take some real light values. I did do the fender wells, the shadowing under the fender wells, under the valences, and that will give me some idea of how far I can actually go with this in terms of setting the value of the lightest and darkest areas of the car. And what I always like to do is to try to figure that out, because you don't want to use only a portion of the spectrum that you have. In this case, I say spectrum, it's only black and white, of course. But what you want to do is you want to get a value for the highest and the lowest, both of them used in the picture. And when you do that, it gives you a range to work from. If I only worked with half of the possible values, then it's going to look very dull and uninteresting. So you want to make a big difference between the lightest and the darkest, and that gives the most drama to the drawing and makes it look the best. And that's what I'm doing here. This is just kind of like ghosting in a small area of shading, and that'll be carried up pretty much along here too. Along here, the underside of this lip that runs down the whole length of the car back to the back. Below it's somewhat darker because there's shadowing up on top. There's the light of sunlight coming down on top of it, and then there's shadowing up on top of it as well because the light's coming from this direction. And then there's some darkness underneath here because it's a really big shadow. But I think you'll like it, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be a very beautiful car, I think. It is a beautiful car. I just hope the drawing does it justice. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll do some more tomorrow. Thank you.